So I went forward a little bit and created some more palm trees for our mid-ground hill here. The exact same way we did the first one. Drew out the shape first that I was happy with, drew the vines in, then used our palm element here, copy and pasted it, moved it around, color graded it until it fit. But as you can see, the exact same process has been done for these. I also added a little fern here just so to help the bottom of that shape there sit a little better. And that was using the same process, just grabbing a photo, matting it out, bringing it in, color correcting it. I did want to show you guys one thing. I also went ahead and did the foreground palms. And this one, I want to show you guys how to do this. I started the exact same way we started with these ones. I drew in the shape that I wanted, drew in my vines and overgrowth. But because this is in the foreground, we can't get away with just flat color. We need some form, we need some edge detail, and just to help sell it, because it's so foreground and it's in your face. So the way I did that was not that. This image right here. This is one of the ones I shot at Laguna Beach, and I knew I was going to use it because it's got this great form, it's got great texture, it's got this awesome edge detail, and it's diffuse lighting, so it made it perfect. Again, the same process to mat it out. Picked a high contrast channel, cleaned it up to get a nice matte, copy pasted it over, so it's its own layer here, and then I just lassoed out this one piece in here, as you can see, to bring into my scene. So I'm just going to copy paste that over. Just going to turn that off. So to get this, now we can use this image exactly the way it is. I mean, we can use it for the shape, but we drew out a special shape here, and we want to kind of stick to something along those lines. So how do we do that? I mean, we drew it out and it's a flat color. Now how do we put this texture on top of it? I'm going to show you a neat little tool that I like to use, especially for bending stuff around. It's called Edit Puppet Warp. What that does, it creates kind of like a lattice around your layer, and then you can go in and put in pivot points, almost like joints, to move this thing. So we created our joints. I'm just going to press Control H to hide the lattice so we can see our shape a little better. And let's say we're matching this shape that we drew out. You just grab the points and you just move them around just like that, and it acts almost like a lattice, moving those pixels around to where you're dragging these points or joints. As you can see, it's pretty easy to get a nice stylized shape now just from this, and then we can go in and make it the exact width and stuff that we drew out. But that's essentially how I did it. And then you color correct the exact same way we have been. Set this in a darker range. Let's pull out some red so it's not so warm. But one thing we also want to do is create some form. This kind of looks flat, and because it's foreground, we're going to need that. I'm just going to duplicate that. I'm going to screen that on top, just like we have been with all the other stuff. And I'm just going to curve this down a little bit. So that we have this light side here. Now I could push this even more so that we only get the light side. I'll knock out some of that so that the tree remains dark. But you see how much form that added. I mean, now you see the form wrapping around, and that's what I'm talking about there. And then we go in and kind of, we turn this off. We use our stylization, draw our lines in, and that kind of works because it's following, you know, the lines that are already in there, and we have a good texture base. And then, you know, I just simply just took a brush and painted some of these in, kind of help stylize it and create some more edges, some more edge detail, so it's not, you know, completely straight. Yeah, and that's how you do that. And for this palm tree here, it was basically using this element in here. Again, same process of making high contrast matte and then pulling out our palm, bringing it in, color correcting it, and then cleaning it up. A lot of the times, again, like we have been doing, we clean up the edges so that we don't get any pixel, white pixel detail or chromatic aberration in there. And then I went ahead and created another bush in here, just a little fern to help that sit in there. It was kind of feeling like it needed something else than just that sticking out of the sand. So, and that's just using this image here again, pulling a matte. And because this is a, you know, lower res image, there was a little bit more cleanup, like we have been doing, kind of sampling the pixels and taking care of those edges. But that's essentially how that came together. The exact same process again for that. And now we're gonna step forward and we're gonna start really trying to finish this up here. We're gonna hit up the highlights in the water. We're gonna put our hot spot into our sky that we want behind our ships. We're gonna do some water integration with the rocks so that they sit in nicely. And then we're gonna put our beach rock in here, and then some other rocks, you know, leading into our focal area. All right, so I'm just gonna save this, and we'll head over to the next step.